Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we proudly provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. My name is Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and it is my pleasure and honor to welcome you today to A Woman's Prerogative. Our topic today is how we cope with adversity. We all have to face challenges in life. Sometimes they're expected or unexpected. How do we show up? Joining me is the star of our show. Her name is Reverend Lydia Fougeres, and she is located in Canada, where I understand it is below 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Whoa, freezing cold. The good Reverend is the TV show host of a show she just did right before this, and it's in English and in French, and it's called La Voix de la Guérison, or The Voice of Healing. Reverend Lydia is a healer herself. She is an empath, and she is someone who leads her life with her heart. She is also an author. Let's welcome Reverend Lydia Fougeres to the program. Reverend Lydia, nice to see you today.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Nice to see you also.
Good afternoon to you. So our topic today, I think, is a really good one. And by the way, we want to say hello to our friends at E360 TV who are distributing our content for us. Reverend, would you share with our audience who's not familiar with your work a little bit about your background and how you help people?
Yes. What I do is that I'm a reverend in metaphysics, and what I do is celebrate weddings. I do. And I wrote books that are called 111 Reflection for Thy Earth Odyssey, which I build programs from. Those are reflections that I made through the years because I have had a lot of adversity. And through those books, which are reflections, there will be a third one that will come out soon. I actually build programs, and I do one-on-one also. So there are courses that are based on the books, on the reflections, to guide people in their life. I am a holistic nurse. I am a registered nurse, first line for registered nurse, and a holistic nurse also. I'm a master in Reiki, and I invented the miracle mist. That is a mist to elevate vibrations. So I am a person that is an intuitive, as you have mentioned. And I do have my inspiration from the other side, so the other dimension. So whatever I create, I get the inspiration. I am dictated what to actually introduce in my products from the other side, which is amazing. And someone can make an appointment with me on my website or by writing to me at 1-514-582-6882. But I also do represent USA Global TV and Radio in Canada and in French countries. So for those that actually want to have their own shows or want to be guests on USA Global TV and Radio, I invite them to try to join me, and I will lead them to you, wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. That will be my pleasure. So we will have someone in our family that will be added.
Thank you so much, Reverend. I really appreciate it. And thank you for sharing your background with our audience. You've helped many people. And so all they have to do is reach out. Your contact details are in the show notes. So let's get into the topic for today, which is really overcoming adversity. And it's interesting. I actually wrote a book on this when I first started writing, I believe in 2021 or 2022, when I interviewed people from all over the world. And one thing that really resonated with me was that people have this incredible desire to just find a solution. It's about moving forward, accepting and identifying and realizing the fact that things are not going the way you thought that they would go. And yet at the same time, not falling completely apart and realizing that you've got to step up and find a way to get a solution. So that's the way that I address things. Things have gone wrong in my life. I shouldn't even say they've gone wrong. They happen for a reason, then we learn things from it. And I know the same thing with you. And one thing that our audience may not know is there is that saying, the show must go on. So we show up whether we are feeling great, whether things are going well or not, we continue to show up. So Reverend, in your work with people, can you share when someone comes to you and they're dealing with adversity, what are some of the things that you coach them on or that you share with them to help them get through this?
Well, what I actually show them is that adversity is there to actually learn, and that they have to make the most of it, even if it is very difficult. So I do not give them solutions at all because they have to find their own solution. So I always say, you are a very smart person, so you can find your own solution. I listen. I listen and try to make sense of what they are explaining. And I just try to walk them step by step in the problem. And I try to make them see the big picture because usually it is like someone that is right facing a wall. They face the wall, they do not see the big picture because they're too close. So, what I do is that I make them back up. And what I explain is that you have to look at, you know, the whole vision. You have to look at the puzzle first because the pieces, you've got some pieces that are missing. So you have to understand that whatever piece is missing will make some sense eventually. So we will work from there, cause to effect.
Thank you so much for explaining that. And that's such a good point. So I know when I was getting certified as a life, career, and executive coach, that was one of the things that we were taught is that you don't provide solutions. You ask thought-provoking questions to get your client to think, and then you remain silent while they're processing the information so they can come up with their own answer. Because Reverend, what happens when we give people answers?
When we give people answers, we are wrong because the thing is that we do not live their life. We do not have their surrounding. We do not understand the way they understand. So we can make a serious mistake by giving them the solution. It is absolutely unnecessary to give a solution to someone that already has the solution because everyone is smart enough to find their solution. It is just that they need time to find their solution. We have to encourage them to know that they already know the answer.
Absolutely. And I think when we allow people to come up with their own solutions, we're showing them respect. We're honoring their intuition. And when we don't do that, when we're kind of giving them a forced solution, what happens then?
Well, what happens is that they try to do whatever we have suggested and they mess up. And who is blamed? It is us. And the situation is not repaired at all. So the thing is that they have to find their own solution at the end of the day, anyways. So those that give solutions actually should abstain from giving solutions. That is exactly what I told my granddaughter yesterday. I do not have a solution. You have the solution. So I know you're smart enough. So you will come up with an answer. That is, my answer is always, you have the answer.
And sometimes what it takes is it's that process of the 5 whys. I think sometimes even 7 whys, like getting down to the core of what it is that's going on. Now, sometimes we as humans will play the woe is me card. Woe is me, everything's wrong, everything always happens to me. When you have a client who is experiencing that and that's what they're coming through with to you, how do you work with them in that case?
Well, what I do in that case is that I try to make them focus on the times that for the moment things are hard, things are difficult, but I try to make them focus on the fact that life is a series of up and down, and that they actually have had good periods and bad periods. So the thing is that I make them focus on the fact that it this too shall pass. It is a lesson to learn, and this too shall pass. Even if it is a very difficult era in their life, I do explain to them there is a way that you will go through this problem, but the thing is that it will pass because time heals everything, and you have everything to find your way out of this problem. And they always do, always do.
And something else that's coming up for me is I feel like when we have something going on, we don't have to necessarily tell anyone. We don't have to phone a friend. We don't have to post it on social media, but many times people will. And here's a situation that occurred recently. It was Friday that an incredible actress, Catherine O'Hara, you may have heard of her from Schitt's Creek and Home Alone. I
Yes.
loved her. I read a number of places that posted that she and her husband kept her illness a secret. And I thought, why is it anyone's business? Like, why would anyone even take the time to write that? So we have to show up with everything that's going on with us and tell the entire world, especially as a public figure. There's no room for privacy. What are your thoughts about that, Reverend?
Well, I think that if she did not want the pity from everyone, I think she did right. The Because people are always in their life, people always poke in their lives, and the thing is that I think that the fact that she was ill, she was allowed to be ill because being a registered nurse, we keep very well-known patients anonymous for the fact that we want them to rest and we want them to have a death that is peaceful. We do not want a crowd outside. We do not want anyone there when something happens to them. So I think that keeping things private is a good thing for the person that is ill that will pass. It is it is absolutely fine to do it because I experienced it, and I experienced the opposite when very important figures were known to pass at the hospital where I was. They were known to pass, and it was extremely difficult. I'm telling you, we are talking about flooded corridors, trying to come in, the television, cameras coming to see the deceased. This is unbelievable. So it is very important to keep the privacy when we want things to stay small.
Yes, I love how you shared that with our audience. So we're all entitled to privacy and we're all entitled to process our adversity as we would. And at the same time, it's like what happened with Catherine. People are like, well, why didn't anyone tell me? Why didn't you tell me? Well, we never knew because we don't have to share every single detail about our life. Now, what is it when inquiring minds want to know everything about us?
it is not their business. It is really not their business because it all depends on the position the person has. So the thing is that, it is not our business. Here in Canada, we are very private people, I would say. We are very secretive, very private, and we think like that. And I used to have trouble understanding what it was about people wanting to know everything was happening in Hollywood and all those magazines that were around. I did not understand any of that before because I did not think that the fact that a star was a star, that they had to actually explain everything to the public, just like you see all those reality shows. In my opinion, they are completely ridiculous. Why would someone follow someone day after day, minute after minute? I do think it is like that. Reality shows are ridiculous for me because they pry. That is the way it works for me. So why don't they let alone those people that are doing some great work, movies? Why do not they let them alone in their private world when they are very good actors, good actresses? Why do they not let them alone in their private life? Because it does not change a thing to their career if you know that. I do not know if you know that they went in Paris to a restaurant. Who cares? Who cares? That is the way I see things. As long as they do good movies and they are good people, the important thing is that they are good people because we have to set an example. So we have obligations, that is for sure. When we are public figures, I admit we have obligations as public figures to be good people, to be good leaders. But the thing is that everything does not belong to media.
Yes, the thing with the media, and I've noticed this, is I'll be looking at Instagram and all of a sudden I see a picture of two movie stars and the camera's like zoomed in. I think, why don't they just leave them alone? Because they get paid. They get paid to take photographs of people. That's their job. And something that I've read, that I forget which A-list celebrities were interviewed, and they said they realized that that's part of what they sign up for. They're in the public domain, and so they realize that their privacy comes at a cost. So we're talking about privacy today as it relates to overcoming adversity or going through adversity. And one of the things I want to talk about now is when we actually have been in the throes of adversity. I've seen people who film their entire scenario, whatever it is they're going through. They write a book, they do day by day TikToks or Instagram so that people can see what they're actually going through. So what are your thoughts as someone who works with clients to help them find their peace and actually to help them understand their own why? Is this a methodology that is healthy if you actually maybe have a film crew following you around, documenting what it is that you're going through?
Well, it could be good if actually people learn from what you are doing. If it helps others understand something, a disease, whatever, if it does help, I think it is a good idea. But the thing is that if it actually is something to actually give you an image, that give you some kind of image, boost your ego, I do not think it is important to have everything. I know some people that actually everything they do is online. Everything, whatever they eat, whatever they do, whatever, everything is online. But the thing is that having a TV crew follow you around, doing everything with you, That is, I would say, a little exaggerated, because the fact is that you do not, I'm not talking about you, Dr. Jack. The person actually does not represent reality as such. So, why do they call those reality shows? By following people that are going through all kinds of things, when actually this is not the reality of anyone else. So why would they call that reality shows when it's no one's reality? So I do have trouble understanding that adversity that is filmed over and over and over again does not help others that go through adversity.
Yeah, I think there's a fine line, and I've actually talked about this on some shows in the past. There's a fine line in coming forward and sharing your story and then reliving it every single day. So we've had some people who have been on here who have had horrific things happen to them. And I would ask them, how do you continue to move forward when your entire platform is based on the loss that you suffered? And it's tough because they're constantly having to retell the story. And it could be suicide, it could be someone who was kidnapped. I mean, we've had all kinds of people on with different stories. And I think it does get to the point where it really starts to wear them down. And the other thing is, we've had people on who were given a diagnosis of a disease and were given a certain amount of time left to live. And they've been documenting it, they've been filming it throughout the course of time, and the one person's 3 years later, they're still going strong. But they actually will have a camera crew come into the doctor's office and film their surgeries or their procedures, and it's gotten to the minutia of what it is that they're going through, how many times they go to the bathroom, like all these things. And so I do wonder if there is a boundary where it's no longer helpful and maybe it's too much information. I don't know. I'm not making a judgment. I'm just chatting with you about it. When is too much information versus just enough?
You are right, because too much information is like not enough, because sometimes it is like it goes on and on and on and on, because everything is, repeats. When a person is sick, well, the thing is that they have medication, they go to the washroom, they eat, they go see the doctors, and so on and so forth. Yes, there is a constant battle. I do understand that. But at the same time, there are ups and downs. So the thing is that, filming them all day long and watching whatever is happening to them is actually something that is depressing to the people that actually are watching, because they actually are preparing themselves to be sick. It is as silly as that. The thing is that it is, you you have a mindset to be ill when you constantly watch illness. So you have a mindset that goes on about illness. Just like when people face cancer, there are two there are two schools of thought. Okay, you do chemotherapy, so on, and then you go in those groups and these cancer groups and whatever, and then you follow everyone that has cancer. This is one school of thought. Another school of thought is that, yes, you do your chemotherapy, you do whatever you have to do, radiotherapy, whatever, but at the same time, you watch funny movies, you go out, you do all kinds of things to keep distracted, that the disease actually does not take over your life. I am for the second option, because I was in a position where I was extremely sick, and I decided to take the second option. And that is why I can talk to you right now, because I am alive now. Because I decided that the second option was the option for me, the positive one. So there are two schools of thoughts, and I opted for one, but I do not say the other one is bad. It is a choice. There are two choices. That is all. It's to each their own.
And that's what I really celebrate is the fact that we get to make choices, that we have those options. I also choose the second option. As you know, I have ulcerative colitis. And last year, almost around the same time to the same day, I got very sick after a flood in my apartment, which coincidentally, I had another flood in my apartment this year. Neither one were caused by me. But I was so sick last year and I had to stay in a hotel. And I said to myself, no, I am not going down this path. I am not a victim. I am not going to be going into the hospital because the doctor said you need to go to the hospital. You need to go on this medication. And I said to myself, no, I will myself to get better. And I did. And thank goodness I've been better ever since. Because if you surround yourself with negativity, if you're watching the commercials all the time, there's a commercial for ulcerative colitis, and it's exactly what it looks like. It's like you no longer are managing your life. The disease is managing you, and you're canceling all these things. And you start to buy into it. And I was doing that for a number of years because I've had it 35 years, I think. And I would be like, oh, I can't go out. I can't do this. I can't do that. And so I said, you know what, forget that. I'm not accepting that. I am going to retrain my brain. And so I think that there are ways that we can do that as opposed to constantly living it every single day. We know it exists, but what can we do to find peace and to bring joy to our life?
Exactly. Exactly. Because I remember what happened to you last year, and I remember that you were fighting and you were doing it and you were still working and go. You were really at it. You were pushing yourself, and you know I am a witness that you really pulled through it like a hero. So the thing is that heroes don't always wear caps. So I really do know that you were pulling yourself through like that. And I did see your apartment the way it was, and it was terrible. And it was cold also. I remember it was cold also. So you have been through many, many things, and you always amaze everyone when you go through adversity. Because the thing is that you are resilient. You learn through adversity. We are the same. We learn through adversity. We actually ask ourselves, why am I going through that? And what do I have to learn? We are not fighting it. We are just living it. That is all. We are in the present moment. We are not 2 weeks later. We're not a year back. We just are in the present moment, and we try to figure out how can I learn from the situation. And that is the way we do not survive because we're not victims. That is the way we are. A
Absolutely.
victim a victim will be a person that will be a survivor. We are not victims of anything. We are warriors.
Yay. Well, I agree with what you're saying. And the way that I look at it, when my apartment was flooded again a week ago Saturday, I thought to myself, what is in this for me? What should I be learning? And I wasn't actually clear on what it was I was learning. I don't know if it was you or someone else said to me, look at how you're handling it. You're handling it so well. And it's almost like I went into what do I have to do now mode? And who do I have to call? And after everything starts to clean up, what do I need to do? What do I need to let go of? And yesterday I was cleaning out one of my closets because they're coming to put new flooring and carpeting in. And in the closet, I happened to find mold. And so I have beautiful, beautiful, beautiful designer bags that I've been saving for years that you could not possibly replace. And several of them were covered in mold. And for a moment, I was really upset because I always keep the price tags inside the bags. And when I saw the price tags and I realized there's no way you could buy a bag for that price, and I went online to see and they're not available. And I said to myself, okay, these bags are ruined. The insurance company will never give you, nobody's ever going to give you what they were worth. And so what I said to myself is, these bags represented a different time in my life because I don't even use them. I don't really go anywhere, but I actually was saving them for when I pass away, to save them for my family. And I said to myself, it wasn't meant to be saved. They weren't meant to be saved, and close the chapter because there's nothing you can do about it. But other people would be screaming and yelling and crying, and I just look at it, that was part of who I was, and it's not part of who I am now. So that to me is part of finding the solution, which again, to me, the solution is finding peace.
Exactly. Exactly. You chose peace. That is exactly what you did. You made the right choice. You chose inner peace instead of drama, which you always do because I know you.
And you as
So,
well. You choose peace as well. And by the way, I'd love for you to chat with our audience. You're very in tune with nature. You spend a lot of time in nature. You shared some of the things that you actually do in nature that blew my mind because I am not an outdoor person. So would you please share with our audience what you do in the outdoors and give them a visual? We'll have some pictures in the future, but tell them about that.
okay, well, I live in Canada, in Eastern Canada, and right now it's my minus 20 Fahrenheit. So it is quite cool, but I dress very well. I am a person that chops wood. I have my own chainsaw. Yes, I do not, a reverend with a chainsaw. I do have a chainsaw, 16-inch blade. And I chop wood also. And I have a snowmobile, and I ride a four-wheeler, all four-wheel drive, and I drive a four-door pickup truck. That is my vehicle. And I go outside and I feed the deer. I do that every single day, 3 times a day. And I pat the deer. And I have a wild raccoon. That is my pet. Now he's in the forest. He went to hibernate, but he will be back in the spring because that is the way life is. I respect his needs. So that is pretty much the life that I live here. I live a life where I am on a land of 53 acres, where there are, everyone knows everyone, and we are happy. And the house has 5 bedrooms, and guests come, so friends come, and we're happy to have them. And I live the happy life. I am a person that am very happy. And the thing is that is why I do programs, because I live a happy life and help people actually reach that heightened, elevated life, that you do not need all that, but at the same time, that happiness is inside. And that is the way it goes. So through my books, through everything that I do and I teach, what I do is that, I live a life that is totally, totally insane at the same time, because Dr. Jacalyn, she cannot believe I'm outside at minus 30. But the thing is that, I decided to live a life of peace, and peace and quiet, and a life of love, where I have a spouse that is exactly like me, and he is a peaceful person, and we share that passion for the outdoors. And we actually send love everywhere on earth because we have enough for everyone. So that is why I am a healer, a medium. I can do healings from the distance to everyone. Actually, I have something like seven appointments this week to do distance healings, and they are 1 hour each. And I have really good results with people that have amazing conditions that actually I am so happy. I am grateful that I can help because we are talking about situations where a person went from all kinds of, for 40 years, went from doctor to whatever, and I did not give up on that person. And now that person has a straight spine when the person had a crooked spine and now has a straight spine. But the thing is that this depends on the response of the person, the healing, not on me. It all because I am only a channel of energy. So the spine was extremely crooked, and now the spine is straight. But as I say, I am not a miracle worker. What I do is I work with a healy, and I just channel energy for them. That is what I do. And I never guarantee any results. What I do is that I give hope. So this is the important thing. Hope is the important thing. And I never actually lead someone on to tell them, I will succeed. I never do that. I never tell a person, I will succeed healing you, because everything depends on the person, whether they want to heal, if they really want to heal. So that is something that is metaphysical, and that is the way it works. So if you feel like joining me, 514-582-6882 in Canada. Namaste. And that is being in the wood, happy as can be. Namaste. Thank you for watching us.
Thank you so much, Reverend Lydia. We're coming to the end of our show. I'll let you close us out. Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to seeing everyone again soon.
Well, thank you so much, because the doctor, that Jacalyn, is the one that opened the show. I have to admit, I have a cold, and she offered to open the show, and I was very grateful. I'm always grateful for what she does for me, because Dr. Jacalyn is a very amazing woman. So I do appreciate, and if you want to learn elevated listening, I do recommend for you to buy her books that are on Amazon also, and take her courses, because she teaches elevated listening. So please join us at USA Global TV and radio, and you will be quite happy. And please purchase Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck's books. You will never regret buying her book, because you will learn a lot from her knowledge. She is an incredible, intelligent person that will really teach you a lot. So thank you for being here, and goodbye.
In a noisy world, true connection begins with listening. Elevated listening transforms every conversation in just 5 simple steps. Pause and breathe. Set your intention. Listen with curiosity. Reflect back. Agree on one next step. Join the Listening Mentor on Let's Finally Talk with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the Listening Mentor, where we help you find inner peace, one conversation at a time. Streaming every day. Let's Finally Talk TV show with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, only here on USA, Global TV and Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channels to watch and engage with all our content.
Meet Lady Ella, a special ladybug who is trained by Grand Beetle on how to listen at an elevated level. After earning her gold wings, Mother Earth and Father Universe asked her to travel across the solar system, teaching life lessons to creatures to respect one another and to listen. Learn more about her travels in the book series, The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella. The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor. Lady Ella's ABCs of Listening. Lady Ella has afternoon tea in London. The ocean calls and Lady Ella listens. Lady Ella listens in the Baobab National Game Park. Lady Ella's space adventure across the universe. The magical adventures of Lady Ella and her super-powered friends. There are also collections of colouring books for parents and kids. Providing world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Join our team of elevated listeners to teach children elevated listening skills. Lady Ella would like to teach you and your family how to listen at an elevated level. If you're interested in learning life lessons as well as how to communicate more effectively as a family, go to Amazon and order Lady Ella's books. They're all there just waiting for you.
When we speak, we don't hear. It's abundantly clear. Listening laces creeping, and nobody's gonna win. Look someone in the eye. If you don't, they surely will cry. You don't hear a word I say, 'cause you always look straight away. Listening laces drive people crazy. Listening laces making us blue. Listening laces, communication goes hazy. Listening laces, listening laces. Da 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 da. Listening laces drive people crazy. Listening laces making us blue. Listening laces, communication goes hazy. Listening laces, listening laces. When you interrupt your friend, you will surely have to make amends. Lady Ella knows the way to help you listen better every day. And what's that? It's listening laces. Ba-da-ba-ba. Listening laces drive people crazy. Listening laces making us blue. Listening laces, communication goes hazy. Listening laces, listening laces. Listening laces drive people crazy. Listening laces making us blue. Listening laces, communication goes hazy. Listening laces, listening laces, listening laces.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.